All right. Are we good?
Hey, I have your screen.
Cool. Okay, so what am I looking at here?
Well, you should probably just focus on the ranked games. So in ranked, I'm pretty much an Ashe one trick. In normals and ARAMs, I'll play other stuff.
Hmm. Oh yeah, I see. Okay.
Yeah, I'll play Ashe. I'll play Caitlyn if Ashe gets banned or picked away from me, and Jinx or Tristana otherwise.
All right. Yeah, I see a win rate of 56% as Ashe, so that's not terrible. That's actually pretty good. So you might.
Yeah, it's been dropping.
Oh,
This season I placed into Iron and I had like a win rate of over 70%. But then once I hit Bronze, I've just been losing tons and tons of games and it's been dropping. So
all right. So let's see how that comes. What I can see so far on your op.gg is your CS score. And I don't know if it's just because there were losses and you were like zoned out of CS, but your CS could definitely be a little better. And one recommendation I have for this is what I like to call the Anivia method. And the Anivia method is when you go Anivia in a practice tool or like a custom game, and then you buy no items, and without any items you walk into the lane without a bot against you, or you can play against a bot, but the goal is to only auto attack minions as a last hit and then aim for 70 CS at 10 minutes. Because well, why Anivia? Because Anivia has the slowest attack animation, as I'm not really sure, but I think it is one of the slowest animations and one of the lowest base damages on her auto
yeah.
attacks. So if you can CS
So,
as Anivia, you can CS as any AD carry.
so I've tried that. I mean, when I first started playing League of Legends, I've been playing since like season 4.
Hmm.
And I did CS practice. I was like I like read all of the guides that said you need to farm and you can
Yeah.
outfarm your opponent to win and that's farming is the key to the game. And I was like, okay, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna be like the best farmer in the world. And I practiced. I did practice versus minions for like 15 minutes every day. I didn't use Anivia. I just used my the AD carry, but
Yeah.
all it got me was a bunch of really bad habits. It made me like totally focused on hitting minions and like even to this day I'm trying to break those bad habits where I will not harass enemies or hit enemies or even like
Yeah.
if we're team
I see.
fighting and a minion wave comes down, I'm like, "Oh, more minions. Let me hit the minions."
Yeah. That's
So,
part two, of course. Finding the balance between trying to CS and harassing your opponent or like trading. That's part
yeah,
two, of
so
course.
I just don't feel like more CS practice is going to do anything for me.
All right, then let's watch the games. So the first game, I've watched this game yesterday already, so uh, I suggest we watch this entire game and look into it in detail, and then the other two games we'll just go over it pretty quickly and see where your deaths come from, if that's okay with you.
Right. So
Or
I
where
told
where
you
did
I
you
gave
want
you
to focus on?
So I told you this is kind of typical where I'll just go kind of even in lane, but if I have other lanes that are losing, they all show up bot and
Yeah,
then take the tower and that's the game. I mean, in most games, I'm just not a factor.
I
The
see.
nicest thing you can say about my play is that I'm easy to carry,
Hmm.
but if I have someone on my team who's carrying or who's ahead, yeah, then we'll win the game. If we don't have someone, then we lose. And what I do generally doesn't really make much of an impact.
All right.
Uh, I will almost always have the least damage in on the team,
Hmm.
frequently the least damage in the game,
All right.
and just
Then let's see how
yeah,
we can change
and this
it.
is just an example of where we didn't have anyone on my team that was carrying, so we just got overwhelmed and lost.
All right. So if we can check out the loading screen again. So going into this game, what are you thinking at this moment?
Well, my Malphite was autofilled, so I was thinking he's not going to be much help in lane.
Hmm.
Versus an Ezreal Lux, there's just a ton of poke, so I just want to stay behind minions to try and prevent Ezreal Q and try not to get hit too much by Lux.
Okay.
At 6, theoretically, we've got great gank potential. So maybe just play safe until 6 was what I was thinking.
Yeah, exactly. Because I don't know if you've ever watched Saber. He's like
Yeah,
a challenger AD carry. He's always talking about the different types of bot lanes. So you've got catch, poke, trade, and all in. And this is
yeah.
what
So
I'd
we're
like to
all in
call,
versus poke.
yeah. So I'd say you guys are still poke slash all in after 6, and same for them. But the only difference is that your CC is way much more like reliable after 6. The only thing Malphite has to do is use his ult when Ezreal has used his E. So just bait out Ezreal E. Then after he uses it, Malphite can ult, and your ult is kind of free afterwards. And you basically should be able to all in him, like one shot him before he can even move. But then the tricky part is that you should try to not be poked as much as possible. Like you should avoid getting poked by the Lux and the Ezreal pre 6, so you can go all in at level 6. Oh,
Yeah,
also,
Ezreal poke is not too hard to avoid. Just stand behind minions. Lux
yeah,
poke is a little harder to avoid.
yeah, it's mostly like the Lux. I think it's her E. Not
Yeah.
sure. Yeah. Also, I probably would have asked the Malphite to go either ignite or exhaust. Probably ignite just for the all in after 6, because double heal is anything but efficient, since it gives
Oh,
you
yeah.
like a
Yeah, it's
debuff
awful.
for 35 seconds. So if he didn't swap, I would have swapped myself to probably exhaust, because exhaust might be more efficient on 80 carries anyway. Um, so yeah, double heal
I
isn't really.
usually notice something like that. I think in this particular game, there was a bunch of confusion because the Malphite was auto-filled and then he was going to swap, but then he didn't swap, and people were
Yeah,
confused as to who was going to play what, and we didn't have time to get something like that settled.
I see. All right, so let's get into the game. We're just leashing here. That's fine. Mm,
All
uh,
right. So I'm not liking Kindred doing this,
yeah,
but I
same
feel like I'm
here.
forced to go support her.
Yeah, there's already a voice in my head saying that you're going to die here, and like, why is this a bad idea?
Well, she was just running in there with no vision.
Yeah, true. I mean, if you look at the minimap, Malphite is coming, but he'll be split. And what if there are 3 or 4 enemies right here in the bush above you? Then you're just basically dead.
Yeah,
So I
but I mean,
would
this is
just.
something that happens over and over in low elo, where I'll have a teammate that does something that I think is wrong or too risky,
Mhm.
and I've got a choice between two bad options. I can either run away and let them die, or I can try to support them and maybe help them get away, or maybe make an outplay. I don't know.
Personally, I'd always go for the first option, and not only running away, but I would also spam ping him, like back off, because if you help him, what are the chances that it's gonna work out? Maybe 20, 30%, but what are the chances that you will fail? And that's more likely to happen. So that's why I would just go for the safe play. I wouldn't like want to risk using my summoners over nothing. So I'd rather have the jungler die, even if he doesn't listen to your pings. I would rather have him die than try to help him, because right now you've already used heal like for nothing, only like this dumb play because he was being stupid. And okay, if you just ran and didn't use
Well,
heal,
if I just ran, he would have died.
yeah, but that's on him then.
Yeah, but I don't know. For the overall game state, I mean, is it better or worse for me to lose heal or for our jungler to be dead?
I'd say depending on who gets the kill though. But if if he were to be even on bot lane, if Ezreal didn't get the kill, I mean, he probably would have. But still, I value heal so much over just an early kill. Heal can do so much for you, and whereas just being one kill behind, isn't really that effective for them, especially since they're probably not even gonna. I mean, what time did it happen? Yeah, they maybe could have backed. It's an iffy situation, but personally, I wouldn't have used my heal. I wouldn't have tried to help him. I would just, in every case, I would just spam ping him to back, and if he doesn't back, then he's just being stupid.
I just, it hurts me emotionally to leave people to
Yeah,
die,
I
especially when I
get
start
that.
complaining and they're like, "Where's the AD carry? Why are you not fighting? Everybody's
Yep,
so far behind me."
that's when you just mute. But yeah, I get it. I used to be like that too, like always wanting to help my team, but then after 100 times where I just die because I tried to help them, I just learned myself to not do that anymore. It's kind of a bad habit unless you're sure that you're getting something out of it.
All right, so this was an unusual start because of the unusual beginning, and
Yeah,
Malphite's helping to leash Kindred while I was trying to farm, and it worked out, I guess.
yeah, so far so good. That's a nice poke, by the way. Nice.
Yeah, I feel that the laning phase in this game overall was okay, um, until the other lanes showed up.
Okay. Yeah, so we can talk about this. So Lux just used her CC, and she was running away because she didn't really have anything else, and Ezreal just uses E. So when he uses E like that, just aggressive like that, right now he's in range to auto attack. So you probably could have had also like Malphite missed his poke on him. He used it on minion for some reason, but I think you could have gotten a volley and one or two auto attacks in. Like if you volley right here and then one or two auto attacks, the trade is at least even, if not in your favor.
Yeah, that's something that I'm still not very good at, is just playing around cooldowns.
Hmm. Yeah, and that's what I'm seeing in low elo with a lot of Ezreals. They use their E so aggressively, but every time they do, it's like suicide. You should always try to punish their big cooldowns like this Ezreal E. Oh, same for this. I mean, you're fighting in a lot of minions, but they're low
Yeah,
anyway, so you can get at least one. Try to get a volley and an auto attack in.
I was really scared by the minion wave there.
Hmm. Oh, yeah, same for this one. Like, Lux doesn't really have anything because she used everything on the Malphite. I mean, not her E, but her E is not gonna kill you. So she used her E, I mean her stun, but she used her E and her shield. So you can just, oh, you're doing it. Okay, so this is fine.
Yeah, okay. So that was a good trade.
Yeah, and that's what you always want to do. If they use something on someone else, just punish them for it. All right, so far you're winning. Oh, that's a weird heal.
Yeah, if you have the audio, I actually have a commentary and I actually say, "Wow,
Oh,
that was a weird heal."
wait, let's back it up. I want to hear that.
That's their heal. Wow.
Oh yeah. All right. Yeah, so this is good. It's great.
Malphite, you're gonna die.
Together we are strong.
Cannon.
Together we are.
And I think at this point, I'm kind of wishing that Malphite will back. think I say something to that effect, because he's
Mhm.
not helping me at all,
Oh,
and he's just gonna die.
yeah. But
Understand.
at the same time, so right here, you're not getting stunned, but yet you're backing off while they're most likely, like 99% sure, that they're gonna all in for the Malphite right here. So what you can do is just immediately go in, but like you
I'm not
waited
getting
for
why
like
minions were pushed in.
a second or longer. Like right here,
Yeah,
he backed off
I mean,
before really going
a lot of my reactions are just like 1 second too slow.
in.
Yeah, Malphite died. I mean, people say League is not a game of reaction, but it really is.
Yeah, it is 100%. And the thing is, like this situation combined with all the other times I said like you can go for a poke now if you or you can punish him harder. Combine all those situations together, and you might probably have killed someone or at least forced a flash or heal or like other summoners. But playing too passively is most likely what loses you lanes or not loses but loses you games because you didn't snowball as hard as you could have.
Okay, can
I
we
mean
try to
that's
get
what like escaping bronze and silver. It's all about using game knowledge to overpower your lane opponents. But you really have to know when you can go in and what your limits are.
right? Got the Lux at least.
But hey, that's an assist, so that's fine.
It
Oh.
is. Yeah, so Kendra did come down to gank several times in this game, but she got all
Mhm.
the kills. I didn't get any kill, I just got assists off of it.
Yeah, that's unfortunate.
I mean, that's something that happens. I mean,
Mhm.
I wasn't too upset about it, but I was just hoping that Kindred would be able to carry after that, and I
Yeah.
don't think she did. And I'll back after that.
Also, one small detail, I like how you ping for
Couple
assistance here. Like,
pushes.
you recognize that you want to hard push this wave and you need Malphite's help. Now,
Yeah.
unfortunately, he's auto-filled and he's not really helping. That's too bad.
And I'll back
He's not
after
even
this.
getting the cannon.
I got the assist. Kindred got the kill. That.
Alright.
Oh, Tryndamere, you're. What is Mel?
I see you're going Borg first, so that's
Ah,
good on Ashe.
exactly. Yeah, and I'm versus Vlad, Seth,
Mhm.
and they have like one other tank too, so.
Okay.
Okay, get out of the wave, get out of the wave. Trade's back, that's good.
So far, so good. Oh,
Lux.
okay. We can talk about this. So, if you're against someone like Lux or Morgana or even Leona or something, or someone with a hook, you actually never want to walk up to a wall like this. Because right now, at this point, there's only one way you can dodge, and that's just making it easier for your opponent to hit skill shots. So this was actually like a free stun. Whereas if you would have been standing here, if she then throws her Q, you can dodge up, you can dodge down, even diagonal. But right here, there's only like one or two ways for you to dodge, which is kind of a similar direction. So it's making it easier for her to hit it.
Okay.
But still, you're coming ahead out of it, so. Oh, I think you could have kept going, but this is fine.
Thank you.
This is where you probably just want to get your level 6 and then finish him off. Yeah, that's it. That's a great job, like baiting out the E and then ulting. Ooh.
I actually didn't consciously bait out the E there, it just happened.
Oh.
It's not like it was
So
intentional on my part.
let's pretend you did. So yeah, you always want to bait out the E so he doesn't really have a way to dodge other than use his flash. Also, so you gotta kill here. And if you were a beast, if you were truly like challenger level, what you could have done is anticipate the Lux stun that's coming and hold your finger on your flash. And as soon as she throws her Q, then flash over it.
Or even just sidestep it, I think.
Yeah, even sidestep.
Got the Ezreal.
If you're not sure you're gonna be able to sidestep, then just use flash and get a double kill. And that's the thing. A lot of the times, if you see pro plays like this, so like flashy plays where people use flash to instantly dodge an ability, that's not because they have such great reaction times. That's just because they anticipate on it. They know it's gonna happen and they're ready for it.
Yeah, I mean, in a situation like that, I'm using like 100% of my brain just to try to kill Ezreal, and I don't have enough brain cycles left to think about, oh, Lux
Yeah.
still has her binding. I should be ready to dodge that.
Uh-huh. All right. So that's maybe one thing I'm gonna want you to practice on then. That's before you go into a fight, then you should try and plan out the fight. Like if you, eh, for example, the Ezreal using E, before you're gonna use your R, you should already be thinking like, okay, if I use my R, can Ezreal dodge it? Yes, he has his E, has his flash. So what I want to do, I want to at least make him use his E first, then I can R, so he will at least be forced to flash in order to dodge it. And same for the Lux afterwards. So okay, now I'm chasing Lux. How can she stun me? She can throw her stun. So how can I avoid getting stunned? I can use my flash for it to dodge it. So I want you to think about the fight before it happens. And the more you do that, the easier it gets, of course. I mean, the first 100 games you're gonna
That
have
would be
problems.
something very new for me to do.
Mhm.
I'm just gonna back.
Yeah, and that's always the hardest part. Like getting used to something. It's gonna be hard for like 100 games, maybe even more. But the more you do it, the easier it gets.
Win condition. Alright, I think it's at this point, if you listen to the audio, I look at top lane and go, oh my god, what is happening top?
Oh yeah, wow, 17 CS. That's tragedy. All right, but on the other hand, now that you know Vlad's gonna be fed, what's your game plan?
That was really rough. I mean, at one point I had a decision of, do I buy Executioners just for Vlad, or do I finish Runans first? And Ashe feels so terrible for me until I get Runans. I almost got the Executioners, but I decided I wanted to finish Runans first, and I never ended up getting the Runans.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
I never ended up getting Executioner.
Yeah, that's
Alright,
probably where this game went wrong then, because it's not only for the Vlad, but if I'm not wrong, they also have Mundo,
Yeah.
and then that's a lot of healing. So if they have Vlad and Mundo, then I'm not sure, but I probably would have even started off with Executioners. Now I'm fine with going board first, but Executioners is only 800 gold, and it still gives some damage. So it's not like you're throwing away your entire laning phase by going Executioners, because it also helps when Ezreal tries to use his heal, for example. So it's not a useless item, whereas it's gonna be extremely useful later on in the game. So you're gonna need it as soon as possible. Now I'm fine with going board first, but Executioner second is definitely a must in this game.
Yeah, I used to buy Executioners much more frequently. Like if I was laning versus a Soraka, I would go Executioners first. But then I had another coach who told me that was a waste.
Oh, that's weird. Yeah, not that I buy Executioners first against Soraka every time, but I do when I feel like the heal is gonna be extremely annoying. For example, when I'm playing like Draven with Leona, then I don't buy Executioners first, because I know if we are 6, we can just perma-stun and like one-shot them before they can even move, even with the Soraka heals. But let's say I'm playing Thresh and Ezreal with the Thresh support, then it's gonna be a lot harder to one-shot someone. And that's maybe when I can go Executioners first. Okay, so that's a dragon, that's great.
Getting out. Yeah, just get out. Just get out.
Yeah, you're right. Just get out.
Just get out. Just get out. Just. And people don't listen to that.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't have that. I can get this. Condition now.
Alright, this is fine. And getting back to lane. Unfortunate. Yeah, and this is like what I was talking about before, like CS wise. At 10 minutes, you want to be at like 70 CS, and this is 60 CS at 12 minutes, so it's not terrible. But at the same time, when you think about it, 15 CS or like how much is it again? Like about 15 CS equals a kill.
Yeah, I know. My last hitting has always been bad, but I mean, no matter how much I practice, I can't seem to improve it. All right. At this point, if you listen to the audio, I'm screaming, "Ult, Malphite, ult! Where is your ult?" I want him to ult. So that.
Yeah.
So I wanted to save my ult until after Malphite, but okay.
And then he ults.
Eventually.
Yeah.
So we do get one kill, but. So, not terrible. And at this point, I'm thinking, my laning phase has been going pretty well, and we're actually kind of ahead in kills. But
Yeah.
I just haven't pushed it enough, I guess.
Losing
I don't know.
lane's hard.
Also, like right here, you can be zoning the Israel super hard. So maybe this is another, not really an issue because you are winning lane, but if you're winning lane, you can play super aggressive. Assuming you know where the jungler is, of course.
Yeah, I still have it in my head that I always want to be behind minions when I'm facing Israel. Can you really zone Ezreal? Because he'll just poke me if I move out in front of him.
Let's back off until like right here. Before Ezreal isn't even showing up here. Now he's showing up. So if you can wait, let me get my pen here. If you're just standing in this bush, which is probably not even warded, if you just stand in this bush, wait for him to show up, then you can just volley him, and maybe you can use Q, but you using volley and zoning him off minions is totally worth getting Q.
Wait, but if I volley him, he WQs me, WQ auto. That's a huge chunk of damage.
Yeah, but that's assuming he's going to be able to see you and know where you're coming from. But or you can try and sidestep it. But if you're just like standing here, like standing right here, if it's not warded, he'll know where you are, but it's going to be harder for him to hit you. Whereas if he gets too close, one, he's not even getting XP from the minions because he's going to be forced to stand over here. And if he does get too close, you can just go for a volley and an auto attack, which is most likely at this point because you are so far ahead. It's going to be way more damage than his WQ. I'm pretty sure, at least.
We're losing other lanes hard.
Like he's half HP right now, and you're at like 80%. So if you were just standing here using volley and an auto attack, and maybe let's say you dodged it, then he's suddenly at like 40 or even 30% HP, and he's gonna be the scared one, and he's gonna be either forced out of lane, losing all this wave, which is cannon wave, or he's gonna try to get that CS, and while he's gonna try to get that CS, every time he goes for a minion, you should always look for a punish. So he gets lower and lower, and eventually he'll get low enough for you to dive him or just make him recall, force him out of the lane. Of course, before you do that, before you go for a dive, you can use your E on the enemy jungle to spot out the jungler first. Because you don't want to dive when you don't know where the enemy jungler is. Yeah, so right here, he uses his E, he uses his entire combo, I think.
Yeah, but he's back under tower by that point.
Yeah, of course, but he's gonna want to go for the CS, and every time he goes for a CS, he has to like get in range for it. And when he gets in range, like he's staying at this point, and if you're just walking up for one auto attack and then backing up before the tower is able to hit you, then that's another auto attack worth of damage.
In general, I have a hard time, figuring out how much damage people can do, because I've faced Ezreals who would aggressively EWQ into me and chunk out 80% of my health bar, and I'm kind of thinking of that.
Okay, but can't they do that when they're like behind?
If they, yeah, well, that's the thing. I'm not doing the full math. I'm thinking of the one Ezreal who completely wrecked me, and I just think, oh, that's Ezreal. Ezreal does that. I mean, it works both ways too. I mean, later in the game, I realize that Vlad's a problem. I'm trying to kill Vlad, and I don't realize how much damage Vlad does, and he just, hits me with one Q, and I'm dead.
Yeah, that's Vlad for you.
So yeah, in general, just knowing how dangerous people are, I can both underestimate that and overestimate that, and it hurts me both ways.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's just a shame, because in this case, Ezreal is way too far behind for him to hurt you. So even if he hits his full combo, I think you'll only lose like 30% of his of your HP, whereas you only volley an auto attack, he's gonna lose the same amount of HP.
Or bot.
So here's where the enemy team starts showing up bot, and I'm like, I don't think we can defend this against 4 of them, and just backing off.
This is just where you forfeit the tower.
Yeah.
Which is unfortunate, because your team is not doing anything in return. That's kind of sad. But yeah, there's nothing you can do in this situation. I'm just glad that you didn't make it worse by trying to save the tower and dying. So this is good. The Yasuo is coming.
Yeah, I'm thinking, okay, even if Yasuo's here, it's still 3v4, so I'm a little reluctant to fight this, but it works out.
Yeah. Okay, that was great. I personally would have used my R right about here, right when the Ezreal uses E.
Yeah, I had no mana.
Oh, I see. Okay, I'm blind. Ah, it's because of the volley. Okay.
Oh, I don't have mana for all.
Oh yeah, you're saying it. Okay, nay. No, then that's pretty great. Worked out pretty well. That's 2 kills. But then the Vladimir probably shows up later in the game. Oh wow, the Mundo is still here. Alright. Yeah, so this is probably when I would have started building executioners.
Yeah, I think I mentioned it in the audio. So it was on my mind, but I decided not to.
Nothing farm.
And here's another case of, do I save Malphite or not? And I actually decided not to, but then it looked like he got away, so then I changed my mind and tried to save him and went back, and...
Yeah. I mean, you were right to probably save your heal, but I would have used my R here. because no matter what, if you use R and then your blade active and your volley, he probably should have died, because he would have gotten like 1 or even 2 more auto attacks, plus a few more auto attacks from you, and the blade active. So this is just kind of like, you need to recognize when you can get a kill, and it's like, was like half a second window, but it was there.
Yeah, those half-second windows are just really short for me to
Yeah,
react to.
I get that. And again, it's kind of unfortunate that there were 4 people bot again and no one's doing anything. I mean, Kindred is kind of doing something
She's
by
getting a mark.
counter jungling, but
Oh, she's getting her mark off that jungle.
yeah.
Here, but
I mean, that's something, but at the same time, Top is losing horribly. Okay. Alright.
ate our jungle.
Oh, this is a fight?
Vlad's got a.
Oh no. Oh, the Yasuo. Yeah, it's about right here. The Yasuo pinged that it was gonna be on his way to like force a fight here,
Ate our jungle.
and
Vlad's got a.
he probably 100% he expected you guys to go for a wombo combo with the Malphite and your R.
Yeah, I didn't see that. I just saw Vlad coming into our base.
Oh, God.
Damn. Oh no. Are you dead?
And I missed the ult. And at this point, I'm kind of grieving for his shutdown. And I'm like, can Vlad really 1v3 us? And yeah, I guess he can.
Oh wow. Yeah, and imagine you having executioners.
Thought I could maybe do it, but no.
And that's not even calculating Mundo into the equation. Like, you really needed executioners in this fight. I think he probably would have died before even getting a double kill here.
Thought I could maybe do it.
Yeah, now he's probably too strong. Is this the last fight? No.
I do eventually get the shutdown on Vlad.
Alright.
But yeah, at this point, the game's basically over.
Oh damn. Alright, so we can talk about that. So this R, what were your thoughts about this R?
I mean, I'm just trying everything I can to kill Vlad. I mean, my only thought at this point is we have to kill Vlad. I mean,
Okay.
he's taking over the game.
But let's say this Vlad is gold or above, which he isn't, but what if he was? What would his game plan be?
Yeah, to just pull my arrow.
Yeah, exactly. So luckily he didn't, but he could have. And the second thing is, even if you ult him right here, it's not going to lead into a kill because a Malphite doesn't have his ult. And because a Malphite doesn't have his ult, there's not going to be any knockup. So Yasuo, and unless maybe Yasuo had a knockup ready, but I don't think he did. And because Malphite doesn't have his ult, it's not going to be a knockup, so there's no Yasuo ult. So I personally would have waited like 20 more seconds or so until Malphite would have his ult, and then go for an R for the wombo combo on him.
I didn't have a plan. I'm just trying to do whatever I can in the moment to kill Vlad.
Yeah. Okay, so that's probably a pattern you could try to incorporate.
I'm still trying to finish my Runans before I build Executioners.
Oh wow. Wait, what? That's a lot of damage. Oh wow. I mean, even though you died there and hard lost fight, I would still say it's pretty well played, because you played it relatively safe, as you should against a fed Vlad like this. This is just one case of, okay, Vlad is too strong at this point. That's an unfortunate one. And this is, in my opinion, maybe not a game that wasn't winnable. I think, in my opinion, it was winnable if you could have snowballed your lane harder and if you bought Executioners first. Or like after Bork, at least. Oh, he dies here, right? Yeah, okay. Alrighty, so it seems like this game is kind of over. Wait, did you ult? Oh, okay. Yeah, I mean, not really much to talk about there, because the game was actually already over, but I mean, you probably know that ulting the tank, like a tank like Mundo, isn't really gonna do much, but yeah, it seems like... Oh, it's not over yet.
This is bronze, so it takes a while to finish games.
Why is this a shutdown?
Oh, I missed it.
Wait, how did you kill...
Oh, I missed
Oh, it's your ult hitting Lux under tower. That's awesome.
Oh, you know, I didn't even realize that.
Mark where they died. That was as close as they got.
Ooh. Yeah, that's Dunzo. Okay, so to recap this one, I would say, while yes, Vladimir snowballed insanely hard on top, I still think it was winnable if you could have dominated your lane harder, and it was possible, definitely. And also by buying Executioners, you could have had a lot more impact against Vladimir, and maybe better ult timing. But I would say in lane your ults were great, so that's not the biggest issue. The biggest issue is knowing your limits, knowing when you can punish the enemy. Example, when you're already ahead and they're going for a minion, every time they want a minion, you should be punishing him, just because you're stronger. Um, what else? I think that was about it for this game.
They're having plans for team fights.
Yeah, having plans for team fights, knowing when they're going to use their abilities and anticipating on it.
And don't be afraid to delay Runan's purchase if necessary.
Exactly. All right. So that was game one. So